Have you ever wondered why goods and services cost what they do? Tonight, a new segment called Here's the Deal will examine why gas prices in New Jersey are usually cheaper, even though motorists don't pump their own gas. Here's Vision's reporter Arturo Rubalcava.
Okay, here's the deal. In the past year, gasoline prices have increased dramatically, and motorists everywhere are outraged over the prices we're paying at the pump.
Everybody feels helpless. Nothing we can really do about it until they drop it.
A week ago it was like 5 cents cheaper than it was today. And I gotta drive a truck around $60 every time I fill it up.
Because only one thing I know, the price is killing me so bad.
Wasn't even, what, 2-3 months ago, it was like $1.18, $1.19. So what's up? Nobody's explaining why it's going up so fast.
I met with Jerry Davis, manager of media and public relations for Sunoco. He told me the facts about the current fuel costs.
The cost of crude oil has gone up substantially. There's been a significant, rapid run-up in the cost of crude oil over the last year. In 1998, late 98, you're talking about $11 a barrel for crude oil. Last year, January, you're talking about $12. And because OPEC decided to cut production to raise the price of crude oil, you're now looking at crude oil, which is $30 a barrel. It's really economics 101. When supply and demand get more in balance, the price will come down. And most of the time, we live in an environment that is well supplied with gasoline, with products. This is not one of those times.
One way many people here in the Delaware Valley try to beat the escalating price of gas is by filling up in New Jersey, where gas costs less and they pump it for you. In fact, New Jersey and Oregon are the only two states remaining where self-service is not an option. Jim Benton is the executive director of the New Jersey Petroleum Council.
Since 1949, New Jersey has prohibited the dispensing of gasoline by customers at service stations. The main reason for that in 1949 was concern over fire safety. Since then, fire safety concerns have been addressed, and this prohibition remains largely because of concerns that dealers have of competition in the marketplace. Their main concern is that the price of gasoline in New Jersey is as cheap as it could possibly be.
But how is that possible? How can full-service gas in New Jersey cost less than self-service gas in Delaware or Pennsylvania?
The state of New Jersey has a very low motor fuel tax, which is at 14.5 cents, where other neighboring states, such as Pennsylvania, is much more.
How much more? Pennsylvania's motor fuel tax is 26 cents per gallon. Delaware's is 23 cents. So even with the added labor cost, you still save some green when you get gas from the Garden State.
It's a lot cheaper. I'm paying $1.59 there. It's $1.43 here. And down the road, it's $1.39.
I like it. It's just like somebody holding the door open for you.
You can pull up, you can have your gas pumped, you can run in, you can get the things you need in the store, and you're on your way. It's quick service.
So New Jerseyans, enjoy the service and savings while they last. And out-of-staters, you could come here to save a few cents per gallon, but remember, to get that savings, it could cost you an additional $3 in tolls. But that's another story. And that's the deal. For Visions, I'm Arturo Rubalcava.
When we come back, we'll introduce you to a Delaware man who's striving for Olympic gold.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Welcome back. Tonight's Here's the Deal focuses on the differences between bottled and tap water. Vision's reporter Arturo Rubalcava has that story.
Okay, here's the deal. 3/4 of the Earth's surface is water. 2/3 of our body are made of water. In fact, it's recommended that we drink 8 glasses of water every day. Water, water everywhere. But what's the type to drink?
I think the bottled water is smoother. It's more of a softer it goes down easier than the tap water.
I drink tap water because it's more convenient to get to.
I drink bottled water because Philadelphia tap water tastes a little funny to me.
If I'm out somewhere and I just want to drink water, well, it's tap water. Or if I'm at the gym and I want water, it's tap water.
Gary Burlingame is supervisor of water quality and research for the Philadelphia Water Department. He explains the difference between bottled water and so-called Schuylkill Punch.
The main difference between bottled and tap water is that in tap water we are required to maintain a chlorine residual to prevent anything from growing in it. Bottled water has no chlorine residual in it. We test for chlorine residual because we put chlorine in the water to keep it fresh.
In addition to chlorine, Philadelphia uses lime, ferric and iron salt, ammonia, and fluoride when treating its water.
Continuously through the day, we are running tests at each of our treatment plants to make sure we're treating the water effectively. The testing complicated, but the treatment is fairly simple. You remove the heavy particles. You remove the particles you can't see by the eye. You hit it with a disinfectant. You chemically adjust the water and filter it, and out it goes.
And it ends up coming out of a faucet near you, but under whose control?
The City of Philadelphia's water, because it's a public supply for water, is regulated by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, but here in the state of Pennsylvania, it's the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection that actually enforces that regulation.
However, bottled water is regulated by the FDA as a food product, and both agencies use the same health standards for contaminants. Wissahickon Mountain Spring Water President Jay Land.
We use ozone, which is a gas that is just oxygen, an unstable oxygen. And we put that into our water to maintain the integrity of our product during the processing. We don't have to treat our products to remove any contaminants. Our process is to identify sources of water that provide a naturally clean, good-tasting product and maintain that quality.
And more people are willing to pay for that difference.
Since 1985, the bottled water industry has recognized double-digit growth continuously, and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future.
Not only that, but as recently as the mid-90s, when single-serving and sports bottles gained popularity, non-sparkling bottled water sales have more than doubled to nearly $3.5 billion annually in the United States.
The price of a gallon of water in Philadelphia is less than a penny.
And the price of bottled water, well, let's just say prices can vary.
Our customers really believe that drinking water is good for them, and they're turning to water as their alternative beverage. And the consumer continues to make what we think is a healthy choice in life, and that is to drink more water. And I think that that is the value that you get in bottled water.
So if you're hoping that the price of bottled water is going to change in your favor anytime soon, don't count on it. In fact, it seems like there's only one thing change and water have in common these days. And that's the deal. For Visions, I'm Arturo Rubalcava.
When we come back, we'll talk about Temple hoops and tell you what people of color can do for healthier looking skin.
Nine, 8, 7, 6.
Welcome back. Summertime might seem like a long way off, but for parents of school-aged children, the rush to get their kids signed up for summer camp is already underway. Here's Visions reporter Arturo Rubalcava with more.
Okay, here's the deal. The tax season just ended. Hopefully you filled out your census form, and the last thing you want to deal with right now is more paperwork. But if you don't tend to this green sheet immediately come summertime, your children may find themselves camped out at a playground like this. I spoke with Philadelphia's special assistant to the commissioner for the Department of Recreation, Manuel Glenn. He also coordinates the city's summer camp programs.
We try in the city of Philadelphia and in this department They give you a myriad of things that you can do with your children. Swim, golf, basketball, hiking, camping, whatever. We got it. We got you covered. William Penn, for instance, is $45 for 8 days of an away camp, which gives you everything from meals and hiking and canoeing and all those good things in a wonderful facility on 65 acres and 7 acres of stream. I mean, they're really reasonable.
However, those reasonable prices often translate into high demand and limited space. Manuel, how important is it that parents get their applications in early?
I'll say this, Art. Now is the time to inquire about summer camps. I'm going to tell you why. Our camps fill up very quickly. A lot of children have grown up in these camps, and parents, they're used to the way we do things here. So they're right on the ball. February, March, they're calling. They're trying to get their children in, and it's their friends' children. So they fill up so quickly. So if you're late and you get in here and call or inquire around May and June, well, most of the time that camp is probably full.
So when are the deadlines?
The deadlines are different. I will just say as a generality, April, May, you better be inquiring about these camps. June, you're probably too late because our first camps are starting to begin in June, and then July and so forth and so on. So by April and May, you better be on the ball. But that's the problem. Again, people don't think about it till it's too late.
And if the kids don't get in a camp?
When children have nothing to do, they have idle time, that's when trouble can start.
To find out how to get your youngsters involved in Philadelphia summer camps, call 215-685-2720. Because if you let this one slip by, your children really will be missing the ball. And that's the deal. For Visions, I'm Arturo Rubalcaba.
That's all for tonight's edition. Remember to check out our website at WPVI.com for information about tonight's program. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week, right here on Visions.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Tonight's Here's the Deal has some tips on tipping. Here's Visions reporter Art Rubalcaba.
Thank you very much. Okay, here's the deal. Have you noticed that tip jars like these have been popping up everywhere? It seems that no matter where you go these days, everyone wants a tip. And when you add all those tips up, it's hardly chump change.
Depends on the service. So if the service is good, 15, 18%, maybe even 20.
15% is a minimum. 15% is for just the average person. If the person did a great job, I think you should tip more.
If its service is good, then I do 20%. If the service is mediocre, it's 15%. If it's bad service, then I won't tip.
Ruth Harper is a retired state legislator and founder of Ruth Harper's School for Charm and Modeling. I asked her about this new tipping phenomenon.
You feel sort of guilty when you see the container there for tips. Yet, you know it's not worth it for someone to hand you soda to anticipate a tip. People are better trained today, and people travel more, and it makes a difference.
But who should we tip and how much? Writer Mary Mitchell is better known in the Philadelphia Inquirer as Ms. Demeanor. She also authored the books The Complete Idiot's Guide to Etiquette and The Complete Idiot's Guide to Business Etiquette.
Well, here's the deal. Tipping is about service. We tip for service. If we use that service, then it makes sense and it's only fair to tip for it. Our country in particular is one of the few countries where tipping is actually voluntary. You know, many places in Europe and other parts of the world, the service isn't already included. So you have whole cultures who are much more resilient and accepting and approving about tipping.
When you're in a restaurant, how much do you tip?
In an upscale restaurant, like in a white tablecloth restaurant, you'd tip 20% and more if service was tremendous. You wouldn't really tip any less than about 15%. And 15% in a Denny's, a family-style restaurant, that's fine.
But it doesn't end with the server. Mary suggests tipping the parking attendant anywhere from $1 to $5, the coat check $1 per item, 15 to 20% of the bar tab to the bartender, and $1 to the bathroom attendants.
I think that whenever you think about going to dinner or going to lunch or going out for pizza, I think you need to factor in the tip or don't go.
What about hotels?
Well, if someone opens a door for me to get out of a cab, I don't leave a tip. If, however, I come out and I ask that person to get me a taxi, then I'd certainly tip him a couple of dollars.
Here are some more of Misdemeanor's hotel tipping tips. The bellman should receive $1 per item. Tip the doorman and concierge if they give you special service. Tip room service 15 to 20%, but be careful. The gratuity is often included in the room service bill. And tip the housekeeper a few dollars on a nightly basis.
The staff changes and they rotate, so it's a great bonanza if the Friday housekeeper comes in and gets a $25 tip. Meanwhile, Sunday through Thursday got zilch.
As for other tip-deserving types, according to Misdemeanor, delivery people deserve at least 10% in addition to the delivery fee. Taxi drivers 15 to 20%, and the same holds true for the beauty industry. But what if you simply don't know how much to tip?
The thing about tipping, though, is that there's nothing wrong with asking what's the policy here. You should never ever be embarrassed to ask, because all that's saying is that you're smart enough to know you want to do the right thing. I don't think people want to do the wrong thing. I think generally we all want to do what's right, and I think generally we all want to be fair. We just aren't always thinking about it.
And in case you're wondering if there's ever an occasion not to tip a server,
I say no, don't do that. And the reason I say that is that tipping, a restaurant really is, it's a concert, it's an orchestral operation. And so your food might come out late. That's not necessarily the fault of the server.
So we've come full circle on the ground rules of gratuities. But what about that new tipping trend?
I don't tip people at counters all the time, frankly. For somebody to hand me a cup of coffee, that's why they're there. I don't really think that I'm asking them to do anything over and above the general course, the most minimal course of what their job is.
Speaking from experience, I can tell you that when I waited tables, I relied heavily on tips. And as for Misdemeanor's suggestions, they're exactly that, suggestions. Ultimately, who and how much you tip is left to your own discretion. I'm just glad that those days of relying on tips are behind me. Hey, Don, what's... Oh, I see. All right. And that's the deal. For Visions, I'm Arturo Rubalcava.
That's all for tonight's edition. Remember to check out our website at WPVI.com for information about tonight's program. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week, right here on Visions.
Visions has been brought to you by the United States Postal Service, defending champions of the Tour de France.